When we talk about 2022, and I do believe we are now officially in the midterm period. We've been talking before about usually the midterms really heat up in June or July. And this time around, it might be May. It might even be late April. I believe that with the start of Trump's 2022 rallies over the weekend, and just with the amount of interest and discussion that's already taking place about specific 2022 races, including Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz. I'm doing it too. We need Mehmet Oz running in Pennsylvania, with the discussions about what appear to be shoo-in Trumpists that will easily sail to re-election. You know many of their names. I won't repeat them. It seems pretty clear that the 2022 midterms have begun. And one of the reasons that the 2022 midterms are important are that if Republicans take the House in 2022, the investigation into the Trump riots is over. So there's urgency for it to be completed before the November elections. That's number one. Number two, the success of Trump endorsees in 2022 may well be a signal about 2024 in terms of Trump's interest in running, Trump's likelihood in running. Okay, that's another reason. But there's a third really important category as to why 2022 matters, which is depending on what happens in 2022, not only in the House and Senate, but very importantly, in races within states, governors, secretaries of state, and here we go now, election supervisors. The Republican Party may be in a better position in 2024 to successfully steal an election. They unsuccessfully tried to steal an election in 2020. Depending on what happens in 2022, they may be in a real position to actually succeed at stealing an election in 2024. And we have video here of Donald Trump just admitting it. This is video. And remember, they tried with Raffensperger in Georgia and it didn't work. But had different people been there in Georgia, it might actually have worked. So here, Donald Trump, in a video message to the Pennsylvania Republican Party, he explains why he is focusing on supervisor of elections races in 2022. He's admitting the strategy out loud, my friends. Take a look at this.
It'll be a lot sharper the next time when it comes to counting the vote. There's a famous statement, sometimes the vote counter is more important than the candidate, and we can't let that ever happen again. They have to get tougher and smarter.
So when Trump says we need tougher and smarter people counting the ballots, running elections, what he's saying is we need to more effectively put our people in control of elections so that when I lose, I can just have someone figure out a way to make me win. Remember him demanding the 11,000 votes?
I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
Right. That was with Georgia. So we've known that this is the strategy. And Donald Trump is admitting that this is the strategy. And this is one of the major reasons why Donald Trump is going to be so involved in the 2022 races. They are going to try again. And remember, we've gone through these different scenarios. If Trump had had some friendlier people in 3 or 4 states, it's not a guarantee that it would have gone a different way, but it would have significantly upped the odds that even though Trump lost, he might have been able to stay in power. It upped the odds. I'm not saying it made it likely, but it upped the odds. If Raffensperger had been willing, could have flipped Georgia, right? I mean, at the end of the day, 11,000 votes, as Donald Trump said. We've now heard from retired generals from the military who have warned and said, if the military brass had been willing and interested in helping, you could have had the assistance of the military in carrying out the coup. Trump didn't have it in 2020. What if that changed? And there is no doubt whatsoever where this is heading. Joseph Stalin said in 1923, quote, "I consider it completely unimportant who in the party will vote or how, but what is extraordinarily important is this: who will count the votes and how." And he is saying that he wants them to be better at stealing elections, period. And so how do I've talked before about the difficulty of playing defense against this. They might have 12 strategies, and we need to know all 12 and know how to defend against them. We might only know how to defend against 11. And that 12th strategy is what could be the difference maker. So they're doing gerrymandering, of course, for help at the state level. They are working on voter suppression, closing polling places, restricting early voting hours strategically, all of these different things, voter roll purges, on and, the full list. And now openly saying we need our supervisors of elections in place in order to make this more plausible that we would succeed next time. And this is part of why 2022 is so important. I hope that the left understands the importance of 2022 midterms. That always, compared to general elections, midterms have lower turnout. And it's so kind of cliche and I don't know what other word to apply to it, to say these are very important midterms, particularly important midterms. And there's always some reason why someone will say this is the most important election in a very specific sense, which is when it comes to trying to steal the elections when they don't win. 2022 could be the Rubicon where once it is crossed, it will be very, very difficult to go back. And so we are going to be getting back into, you've got to vote. You've got to vote. And I know it became a broken record leading up to the 2020 election, but everyone must vote, not just because if Republicans take control of the House and Senate, it will be a disaster for the United States. Not just because Trumpian candidates winning makes it more likely Trump runs in 2024. And quite frankly, I think Trump in 24 beats Joe Biden or Kamala. I've said that before. Some of you agree, some of you disagree. But also because 2022 is going to be part of the plan for better positioning themselves to steal future elections, which would be an absolute and total nightmare. We're going to take a break and be back with some very interesting news headlines, your voicemail, and so many other things. Stay with us. We will be right back.